Just like the sprawling labyrinth that is Tokyo, the transport system of the metropolis is a puzzling maze of its own. Looking at a map like this while being utterly lost in Tokyo Station, a first-time traveler to the city will have no idea where to even start. At least that's how I felt. So I made a guide, not to prevent you from getting lost entirely in Tokyo Station, or Shinjuku Station, or Shibuya Station, but to explain the different public transport options available in Tokyo, when and how to use each of them, as well as what card/travel pass you should buy to get the best value without sacrificing mobility. The goal is to show you exactly what to expect before you arrive and make your life just a little better when you arrive.
Stop!
Let's get started. This colorful pile of pure madness is a map of Tokyo's railway systems. The extensive networks of subways and trains can be intimidating at first, but they provide such good coverage that getting around the city is made surprisingly easy. Thus, they will be your primary way of getting around the city, and you usually won't have to touch anything else.
Brother,
Well, by anything else, I really only meant buses. There is an impressive fleet of flat fare buses in Tokyo that would show up every once in a while in your Google Maps search results. Despite not being the fastest, it's still a very good option if you want to relax and admire the city ambience. Being alone on a late-night bus is a magical experience that I always adore. But you won't be riding any of those without knowing how to pay the fare. So before we dive into the details, let me quickly tell you about the most important item when traveling in Japan, the IC card. The IC card is a rechargeable cashless payment method used by everyone in Japan. It allows you to tap in and out of almost any public transport system. While you could, of course, buy tickets with cash every time you travel, the IC card is just so much more convenient and saves you both time and trouble. Getting one should be the first thing you do after you touch down at the airport. In Japan, each region issue their own IC cards under unique names and designs, but all of them can be used interchangeably across the country. The ones issued in Tokyo are the Pasmo and Suica, which are functionally identical, so it doesn't matter which one you get. However, due to the not-so-recent chip shortage,
the more you buy, the more you save.
If you are a first-time visitor to Japan landing in Tokyo, you are more likely to get Pasmo and Suica's temporary versions called Pasmo Passport and Welcome Suica. These are valid only for 28 days and non-refundable, but otherwise the same. If you already have an IC card from another region, like Kansai, you can use it in Tokyo without needing a new one. Also, iPhone users can add a digital Suica, Pasmo, or Ikoka card to their Apple Wallet, which functions just like a physical card. Android users aren't so lucky because as of now, digital IC cards haven't been made available to users from outside of Japan, and you'll have to get physical cards when you arrive. But it's easy to get physical IC cards at both airports in Tokyo after you touch down. Once you're in the arrivals hall, follow the signs to the train station. Instead of using a ticket machine, go directly to a staff member and ask for an IC card. You'll need to pay somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 yen depending on the card. If it's a permanent one, there will be a 500 yen deposit included in this amount. Otherwise, the entire amount goes toward your balance. After you receive the IC card, you might want to top it up immediately. To recharge the card, look nearby for a ticket machine that says IC charge, card charge, or just charge. Choose your desired language and follow the instructions, and you'll be done in no time. There will always be ticket machines to recharge your IC cards in train and subway stations outside ticket gates. Even inside ticket gates, there are usually fare adjustment machines that can be used for a quick IC card recharge just in case your card's empty and cannot get past the gates. Now that you have your IC card, let's explore the various transportation options available in Tokyo. As I mentioned at the start of this video, subways and trains are going to be your go-to modes of transportation. Especially if it's your first time in the area, you're likely to spend most of your time in central Tokyo, where the subway is not only more convenient, but often faster as well. The term Tokyo Subway refers to a network consisting of 13 lines, each represented by a single letter in a colored circle. These lines are operated by two companies, Tokyo Metro and Toei Subway. Despite being managed by different companies, all lines operate similarly and are interconnected seamlessly to form a single network. To use the subway, tap your IC card at the ticket gate and head to the appropriate platform for your travel direction. Consult Google Maps if you're unsure. Stay behind the yellow line to not get isekai'd. Once you've arrived, refer to Google Maps for the best exit nearest to your destination and tap out at the ticket gate to exit. The fare will be deducted from your IC card. If your itinerary includes visiting areas outside the central districts, you're more likely to use a train. Like the subway, the train system also has many different lines, each marked by two letters in a colored square and operated by various companies. You probably already know JR, the semi-state-owned railway company that operates nationwide. If you have a JR pass, it's the only thing you can use it for. Besides JR, there are several private railway companies known as private railways. The great thing about Tokyo's train system is that regardless of the company, the riding experience is quite similar to that of the subway. Tap in at the gates and tap out at the exit. Boarding the correct train can be a bit more challenging though. In subway stations, there are usually only two platforms, and on each platform, every train and their cousins go in the same direction. It's practically impossible to board the wrong subway if you're on the correct platform. However, train stations often have more than two platforms, and trains on the same platform may head in different directions with dangerously close departure times. You get on the wrong one, you're gone. So how do you make sure you're getting on the right train? There are a few things you can do. First, make sure that you are at the correct platform. Then, check that the train's departure time, final destination, and classification on Google. Maps match the information on the platform's display and the LED panels on the train itself. If everything matches, you can just confidently get on board. On a side note, the classification of trains was something I didn't first understand, but it's actually really simple. For trains running the same route, the higher the classification, the fewer stops they make. Limited express trains, being the highest on the list, only stop at key locations and thus are the fastest. But it also requires an additional ticket to board. You normally cannot board a limited express train with just your IC card, so keep that in mind. Your last public transport option in Tokyo is the bus. Although not as fast as the train or subway, buses reach some areas that other modes of transport do not, and it does allow you to enjoy the cityscape while you travel, so I do enjoy a bus ride or two every once in a while. There are several bus companies in the city, but all of them operate on a flat fare system, which means you pay the same amount regardless of the number of stops you travel. To ride a bus, board through the front door and pay the fare. You can pay the fare by touching your IC card or by cash. Before reaching your stop, press the alight button to signal the driver. Once the bus comes to a complete stop, exit through the back door. In conclusion, trains and subways provide excellent coverage and can get you to your destination quickly. Buses, although slower, can access areas that trains and subways can't, allowing you to enjoy the view along the way. All these options are relatively affordable. So, how do you decide which mode of transport to take? Well, you don't. Google does. While some might argue that local Japanese navigation apps are better and more accurate, from my experience they can be clunky and are not user-friendly for non-Japanese speakers, and just don't provide as much info. To me, Google Maps is still overall the best navigation app in Japan, and it's the only navigation app you need when you arrive. I probably don't need to explain how to use it. So here are two quick tips. The public transport network in Tokyo is vast and complex. There are usually quite a few different ways to reach your destination. The app tends to put the fastest option at the top, but it could mean that sometimes you have to make more transfers, and more transfers are usually more expensive. Most of the time, there will be options that are slightly slower but have fewer transfers. This is something to consider when choosing your route. It's also important to note that Google Maps calculates all connecting rides and transfer times to provide real-time recommendations, which means search results can change within minutes as new options become available. So if you're planning ahead, be sure to set a departure time to get the most accurate info. Now that you know the transport options and how to use them, are you interested in some discounts?
Why, yes.
As you would imagine, Tokyo offers a variety of travel passes. Cheaper passes can potentially save you more but limit your travel options, while more expensive ones provide greater freedom but may not offer significant savings. To me, the Tokyo subway ticket is really at the sweet spot for both outstanding coverage and great value.
2 reasons. Reason 1.
This ticket allows unlimited rides on all subway lines operated by both subway companies. While you're restricted to subways, the extensive network ensures you don't at all sacrifice mobility.
Reason 2.
The value of this pass is exceptional. Considering a single subway ride in Tokyo starts at around 180 yen, you only need 3 to 5 rides max each day to break even. Anything beyond that effectively costs you nothing. Besides, the pass has 3 variants, 24 hours, 48 hours, and 72 hours, so it fits comfortably into any itinerary. And unlike most other travel passes, the pass doesn't expire at midnight. For example, if you start a 24-hour pass at noon, it remains valid until noon the following day. This feature is rare among travel passes and lets you maximize its value regardless of your arrival time. Using the pass is straightforward. Simply insert it into the ticket gate when entering and exiting stations. You can purchase it at tourist info centers in both Narita and Haneda airports, at some subway stations, and even at electronics retailers like Bic Camera, making it accessible throughout your journey. But remember, this pass is only available to foreign travelers on a short-term visa, so you need to show your passport when you buy it. Also, the ticket's valid period does not start until you first start using it, so you could buy multiple tickets and use them one at a time. For example, if you're staying for 7 days, you could just buy 2 72-hour tickets and 1 24-hour ticket at the airport when you arrive. This saves time and effort, but it also means that you have to commit to your itinerary, so this works best if you know for sure that your plans won't change and you will stay within the city where travel by subway is relevant. A common question is whether you still need an IC card if you have a travel pass like the Tokyo subway ticket or the JR pass. The answer is yes. Travel passes won't cover every aspect of your trip. There will always be an unplanned bus rides or two, an unexpected private railway adventure here and there. Without an IC card, those are going to be a headache. Plus, the IC card doesn't really cost anything since any initial payment is either stored value or a refundable deposit. There's no reason not to have one and keep it handy for all your travel needs. That is, in my opinion, everything you need to know to get around in Tokyo. I hope you enjoyed it, or at least felt more confident about your coming trip. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.